The video got disconnected. Once again, I'm coming before you. Very interesting session. The prior interest should be living person, and the unborn person should get birth during the lifetime of the prior interest. Then and then only the property will be vested absolutely with the unborn person. If prior interest, on the contrary, if prior interest dies before the unborn person gets birth, then in that case the property will be revert back to the owner of the property, that is transferor. And in case if the transferor has died, then to the legal heirs of the transferor. It means if mediator dies before the unborn person gets birth, then unborn person will not claim any sort of right in respect of that property, because the condition is that the unborn person should get birth during the lifetime of the prior interest. If prior interest dies before the birth of the unborn person, then the property will go back to the owner, or in case if the owner dies, to the legal heirs. Now this is also most important. Now there are a number of possibilities. Number one possibility, unborn person if not born at all. Unborn person not born at all, what will be the situation? Obviously unborn person has not taken birth, then the property will go back to the owner of the property, that is transferor, and in case if the transferor died, to his legal heirs. Because unborn person should get the birth. The moment when he gets birth, then only the right in respect of the property goes absolutely to him. It is vested absolutely with him. If he has not taken birth, then definitely the transaction will become void and the property will be reverted back to the owner of the property, that is transferor. Now what happens if the child is in the womb? Child is in the womb, whether it can be considered as a unborn child property of transfer of property for the benefit of unborn person. It says that unborn person. So what is the difference between unborn person and the child in the womb? Because in IPC also child in womb is considered to be a living child. In case if someone kicks or gives injury to the pregnant lady and the child in the womb dies, then section of 302 is also attracted, because it is also injury. Therefore the child in womb is considered to be a living child. However, there is a difference between the unborn child and a child in the womb. Section 13 of the transfer of property says that child is unborn, means who is even not in the womb of the mother, who is not born at all. So this is the difference which we have to keep in mind. Now another possibility is that if child gets birth but he is dead, the moment before his death, before his birth he is dead, means the body of the child is taken away from the womb of the mother. In that case also it cannot be said that the child has got birth, therefore the transaction become void when the property has to be transferred to the owner of the property, and in case if the owner dies, to the legal heirs of the owner. Now also possibility is that if twins born or 3 children born at same time, whether any of them will claim the right or all will claim equally right in respect of that property created for their benefit. Obviously, naturally, this is natural act. There could be twins or there could be 3 child at a time. Therefore, if there are twins, then all will get the right. If there are 3, then all will get right in respect of the property. Logically think that if twins born, giving right to one child and denying the right in respect of the property to another twin is injustifiable, and it is violation of Article 14, equality before law. Therefore, both the twins will get the right in respect of the property. These are the possibilities or eventualities. Now, another possibility is that if child gets birth and next day or after few hours the child dies, then who will be the owner of the property? Whether the transaction become valid, whether the unborn person becomes owner of the property. Yes, unborn person has become owner of the property. If the unborn person after getting birth dies after 1 day or after few hours, he will become owner of the property, because what law says that the point of time when the unborn person becomes owner of the property is The moment when he gets birth, that time the property is vested with him. Therefore, if he dies after 1 day or few hours, then he will become owner, and his legal heirs or whoever will claim the right in respect of the property. Because the point of time that once he gets birth, he will have right in respect of the property. Therefore, the transferor's right is divested and property will vest in the unborn person. Now, I have covered many situations, eventualities and possibilities under this Transfer of Property Act. In this section, only two ingredients are important, that the prior interest has to be created and the whole remaining interest in the property must be transferred. That which I have already explained. Now we have to know the difference between the will and the transfer under section 13 of the Transfer of Property Act. See, in case of the will, the owner of the property makes a will and the ownership in the property will go after his death only. Whereas in case of section 13 of the Transfer of Property Act, he is immediately transferring a property to the prior interest. He is creating the trust. Therefore, immediately the property is passed to the trustee so as to ultimately transfer the property for the benefit of one person. Whereas in case of will, the ownership does not go unless and until that person, creator of the will, dies. And second thing is that the person who has created the will can change his will at number of times. Suppose he has created number 1 will, thereafter his mind changes, then he can sell out the property to someone. Or if he created 1 will, thereafter he created in next year second will, then automatically first will go. Thereafter if he creates third will in third year, then automatically second will created by him will be of zero value. It does not have any value in the eye of law. Therefore, there is a difference between these two. Now, again we have to see the difference between section 13, transaction under section 13, and gift. See, a gift is transfer of property from donor to the donee. However, the future property cannot be transferred. Future property cannot be transferred neither in section 13 nor in the gift, because the transfer of future property or gift of future property is void under the Transfer of Property Act. Likewise, in section 13 also, a property should be existing property and not the future property. However, still there is a difference between gift and the transfer of property under section 13. Because why? In case of gift, the moment when the donor has gifted the property to the donee becomes the owner of the property. And he will have absolute right in respect of the property. Therefore, donee, once he has become the owner of the property, can alienate the property, can dispose the property, can do anything with that property, because he has become owner of the property and he has got the absolute right in respect to the property. Whereas the prior interest does not get the absolute right, only he is enjoying the property, he is having possession of the property. Ultimately, the property will go to the unborn person after his birth of the unborn person. This is the difference between these two. Now, many questions, already I have covered that point. If somebody raises a question that twins born, because see, here I would like to draw your attention to the provision of this section. It says that where on transfer of property an interest therein is created for the benefit of unborn person who is not in existence. It says that person is used, not persons is used. So we have to do a grammatical interpretation. No. Obviously, we cannot do a grammatical interpretation, because we have to do logical interpretation, because the word unborn person is used, not persons is used. In case if twins born, then both will have the equal right in respect of the property. So we cannot interpret here literally. Here we have to do the logical interpretation. Naturally, because we cannot deny the right to one twin and we cannot give the right in respect of the property to another twin. Okay, because twins are born, they have equal right. We cannot give to one and cannot deny the right to another one. This will be inequality, because this is the nature's rule. Therefore, the word of unborn person person has to be read as a person's logical interpretation. If situation arises, that has to be interpreted like in golden way and not in literal sense, because there may be a possibility that twins may get birth. In that case, both will have equal right in respect of the property, and none of them can be denied a right, or one person cannot be given right, another person cannot be denied the right. This is very clear. So the word person, unborn person, has to be interpreted logically. In the eventuality, it can be interpreted like persons. Okay, this is this in this way we are not doing the grammatical interpretation or literal interpretation. The golden rule has to be used. Okay, now another important point regarding this I would like to draw to your attention is the wording is used transfer of property for the benefit of unborn person. Here it is not used like transfer of property to the unborn person, because why? The unborn person is not in existence at the time of transfer. Therefore the word is used transfer of property for the benefit of unborn person, for the benefit of unborn person, because wording is used like, see, where on transfer of property and interest therein is created for the benefit of person not in existence. It does not say transfer of property to unborn person, but it says that transfer of property to for the benefit of unborn person. This is the difference, because child in the womb is considered to be a living child. Therefore a child in the womb, if the property is transferred to child in the womb, then this section 13 is not applicable. This will not attract, because the child in womb is considered to be a living child, he is existing, whereas unborn child is something like which has not taken birth at all, who is not born at all. So this is the difference which we have to keep in mind. Now I'm just looking if anything remains important things, I can discuss the same with you. This is the many aspect which we have discussed. We have analyzed this section 13 of the Transfer of Property Act. Now section 14 of the Transfer of Property Act says that rule against perpetuity, what it is, because section 14 is connected with section 13. To remember this section 14, we have to understand section 13. Section 14 says that only you have to remember this for the purpose of section 14. It says that the vesting of the interest in the property may be postponed life of the, means for what period, to what extent, life of the prior interest plus minority of the unborn person. This is the only important things which you have to keep in mind for section 14. Means question arises, vesting of interest in the property, till what time it can be extended? It may be postponed or extended till the life of the prior interest plus minority of the unborn person. Now whereas if question of minority arises, then you have to read the provision of Indian law relating to the majority, etc. Whereas in case of United Kingdom, the person becomes major at the age of 21 years, whereas in India a person becomes major at the age of 18 years. Age of majority has to be seen. I hope that I have covered all things. I have also given the examples and I have analyzed this section. I have given the examples, covered the provisions of law also. Hope that you have enjoyed my lecture. Meanwhile, this lecture got disconnected and therefore this video might have been split in two videos. Therefore you have to watch two videos to understand this provision. Thank you friends.